Welcome to our guests and our clients to our 2015 Boston Run Show. Each year we focus on a particular topic, industry topic, that is timely. And last year, those of you who were here in Boston, we focused on the robo-advisors. And this year we're going to focus on management oversight tools and also the goals-based investing initiative. Founded about 24 years ago, First Ray serves the wealth management industry with a myriad of investment products and solutions around the trust bank world and the investment advisory market, and also in the broker-dealer space. Today we have a packed agenda where we will show you our newest offerings on Advisor Express and also our management oversight tool called ExecView, along with discussions with the team panel over goals-based investing. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to Christian Yeager, CFA, and he'll show you our new management oversight tool and also our new user experience and along with our goals-based reporting capability. Christian?
Well, thank you so much for coming here today. We're excited to show you the new Advisor Express as well as the executive view with that. How many here are users of First Ray? So many of you have used the old Advisor Express, and I think what you're seeing here today, you'll be excited about it. I've been now with First Ray for 14 years, and I'm really excited about this tool you offer. I think it should elevate what we have to offer now. It makes the usage of the tool a lot easier. During the demo here. So what we've done this time, we actually worked with an outside firm that helped us interview our clients, interview our own folks, and basically come up with this look and feel that you see here. The feedback we've received was we want something that is very easy to use. So I believe if you're with this Advisor Express tool, within 30 minutes, you'll be able to really understand it and grasp how to run reports, how to create even the process on the fly, how to look at your expenses. And that was one of the things that we fixed as well. We want something that when we have a client in 30 minutes, we just want to click one button and we're able to run it. So what you see here is that new look and feel. And what's also nice about it, you see the straight logo here, you see the blue colors, and that is also customizable to your firm. I know Michael, Eastern Bank is using First Ray Advisor. Now with this, you can actually add a here. You can just so those are some of the main differences. So then also what's very easy with this tool, as you see here, we want to type in the name. It's just very easy to type in the name and see everything. Now we're dark.
Okay. Enter the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's reviewing. Now it's changing. You see how it's changed. To the allocation, nice and allocation. Just very easy compared to the old Advisor Express, and you just can very easily navigate within the allocation. Again, you type in here, in this case, we type films. You can just type in JON, every name, every bit that has JON in its name, then basically show up. And you see here, now the main thing, we want to run report. One of the things we're here today, I know we have a presentation later on, and also our panel discussion. And what we wanted to show you here, how easy it really is to get to the run report. You just saw that. Go to run reports, and here you have a that shows you how you want to run. In this case, investment goals reports. You just hit run, and you're basically good to go. And you see here now, are you sure you want to run it for those two reports? And here the reports here, those are again our new goals-based reports. And I'm going into more detail talking about the goals-based report as a presentation shortly thereafter. But again, what we just see the value of these reports, I'll just pull up this one report here, and you see here from the beginning, you end up, you want to have $20 million by 2020. It shows you with the input here that the required rate of return to achieve the goal is 8.61%. Well, now we're at the reporting. The current process shows you it's only 5.53%. Why is that down? Now you can tell the farming in the beginning you needed to be assessing an aggressive growth strategy. Now you only need 5.52% to reach that goal, which means we can take some risk off the table. It really shows you the current progress that you've made to reach that particular goal that you set. So that's where one of the important pieces where goal-based reporting is different than traditional reporting. But again, more later in the presentation that should focus on goal-based reporting. Here's another report, but I'll again talk to that particular report more. The other thing, most of you are familiar with our report reporting. Basically, we can create your reports based on different templates and based on different widgets that we have available within. Now, the difference here, again, you saw the full report, you can change the sort order, you can change what you want to refer to your body. Yes, you can have your standard report package, but you again can change how they actually get run. But that's something now that with the old advisor press, you didn't have those. Now you see here, there's our base advisor report, the on-point report that most of you currently have access to. And those of you that are not familiar with it, you see here, this is basically a report that has 3 different regions. So you see in the top left, you have your investment activity. On the top right, you have your growth versus net investment. And on the bottom, you have your asset class return versus benchmark. Again, these are just 3 out of about 85 widgets that we have available within Foodstrip. So you have the ability to create your own look and feel from a reporting perspective and also add the data elements that you would like to see. This particular, especially the growth versus net investment, seems to be a very popular report because it shows you how much money that a plan is spending and where your currently at from a net investment, that's from a growth perspective. But again, those are the goals-based reports, and most of you actually currently use those today. Other things that are new, that is something that you actually mentioned to us. We want to have a report where we can sort by transaction type. And one of the new things we now added is actually the what you call, see here, the active report. But the active report, what does that mean, an active report? It means you now can filter within the report. You can send it to the CIO and say, here's an active report of all these channels, here's an active report in this case of all the transactions that you have. And you can then filter based on certain, in this case, certain transactions. So that's what's new here. You're all familiar with Excel. But here, there's an active report that allows you to really quickly look at data that you feel are important to you. So in this case, we just want to look at all the buys. And you see here all the buys are actually showing up, and we can do the same for all the dividends, for all the sales. Again, very flexible. There's new active reporting that we now have available. And again, that is another piece that clients, like you, have told us we need in the application. We added this to it. Other things that are also new now is, as you see here, you can actually now create composites on the front. So here's the 3 Jones accounts. You can select all those, and you see the grade button. And now you can create that particular component. You see there's 3 portfolios, average return, and the total market value. Now what's nice also, you can create temporary or permanent components. The difference here is if you want to create a temporary composite, it won't be billable. As you know, if you create a permanent composite, you always have that composite in place. But the main gist around it was someone just wants to look at a family without the sound or without the sound. Other things here, again, we have other top platforms. You saw that there's other things, allocation, performance, that you can look at on the screen, and it's just very easy again to manage. Down here also you can look at the holdings point to point, your risk analysis, and your asset number. And then one of the last features we now added, and you'll see this also in the management executive view, again, is we have feedback loop that's like that. So now you can actually leave feedback to whoever your performance team will be. It could be your part, it could be your straight performance team, and that allows you to add that feedback out of the app. But the main thing with this app is with the new user experience, very easy to use. It is very intuitive. You can run the report just with one click. And again, you get a lot of flexibility. And I've mentioned this many times. That was some of the feedback that we've received about Advisor Express. We want something that everybody can use and work within 30 minutes. And we believe with this tool, we can accomplish that. Before we switch over to the executive view, any questions you have about the tool, any concerns, any feedback? Okay. One thing and 30 that's a good question, and go ahead, Jim. Michael, basically just for the people, if we can change when somebody walks through the device, right, then show the previous envelope,
Yes, there's 3 different options feature. You can set it to your last work date, or after which time you can set figure out your month, or you can set it to the last date of the year.
There was another question. Oh, yeah. I noticed the widget you have, where you have underneath, you have all these widgets that dot with size, return, and the backpack. I've always wondered why you couldn't have a time varying view of that, to see how that changes over time. You could actually present as holding in a dynamic manner. Is there any way, anything under development where you're actually a multi-dimensional presentation? I think what the widget you were talking about, main widget, that you probably will give you the information. I'm more interested not so much in the report as you couldn't print to the end will, but watch it change over time. That you turn the way out. The ring, side, side, you do that for all. There's a portfolio of 8. There's go ahead.
The current data, seeing the different ways. One of the really nice things about the structure allows for those processes created. This is our structure. Very likely as we go through this, they're going to use this for, and we actually can prototype around here, horizontal bridge. Move your mouse across, you see the change. So we absolutely have functionality and features pull in and they're waiting to hear share things. The cell that you're impactful.
Any other questions about the feedback? Yeah. But yes, we're very excited about going this out. We know most of your currently not using it. When you upgrade, you will actually be you use it. Very easy. Personally, if there's something you're going to push it down, I get one day there is it. Or you can have one. You know, that it will be fair to free upgrade. They will work with your team from up with an upgrade. That once, you know, that day is there. Next time you log in, you'll do some tests. And then here, what you see here is another thing we're really excited about is our executive. And what that does is it really allows you to look at your strategy, look at your advisors, look at your reach, find guys, your portfolio, your strategy, basically any way that you want. You can look at outliers, you can research outliers, I can be outliers, things like that. Allows you the strategy. We have our concept presentation. Bring it on the PowerPoint. So if we have somebody doesn't follow strategy that you can easily identify with this particular tool. And you see here in this case, we have the balanced growth model. You see the total number of accounts that we have here, total market value. On the bottom, we have, you know, in this case, you see the concentration. One thing, first of all, again, it's for management. So, Michael, I think that's something you will be utilizing in the future. This really allows you to look at your firm from a holistic perspective. Also shows you, in this case, assets under management. And one report here that you see here is the concentration report. So why is that important? You see this here on the bottom. You see the concentration and the concentration. You actually have also flexibility to select the asset class and type in the concentration. So, for example, if you have a moderate growth strategy where the maximum should be, in this case, 30% of fixed income, right? And you type in basically 30% of fixed income. What this report will show you, it would show you each account that actually is over that threshold. So again, you have a moderate growth model, 30% is the max you should have in fixed income. You type in the 30 of this concentration report, and it shows you every account that has a higher concentration. So it's very easy to look at accounts that are actually out of balance. Obviously, as you see here, I mentioned this earlier, you can slice and dice this based on your whole firm. You can slice it based on strategy. You can slice it based on your branch that you have or retail. and even by the individual advisor that basically manages. It's again very flexible. So in this case, it's just looking at the brand, the Kansas City branch, shows you here on the right assets under management. You then have an overview summary that shows you the total number of accounts, how many consultants or advisors you have. And then one of the reports that we also think is very valuable is the so-called management risk. So not only do you see here the variance from the portfolio return versus the benchmark, you also see the portfolio standard deviation versus. Again, from a risk perspective, it allows you to identify the accounts that are out of alignment from a standard deviation as well as from a return perspective with the benchmark. So again, very powerful tool from a perspective of how you actually want to research your account. And you see that here, nice also, you can sort this. So if you click on the variance, it goes from the highest to lowest. And if you click on the portfolio standard deviation, and it goes from highest to lowest. So it's very flexible on how you sort the information. That was also one of the feedbacks that we've received. Who's something that's very flexible and easy to navigate. Here also, you can change the net flows by month. So you see how many outflows or inflows you have in the branch, and that's great. You also can look at the fees collected by month. How much money did we actually make with this particular strategy? So again, there's a lot of flexibility in this tool, and it's very, very easy to navigate. And I believe from a CL perspective, it's also very powerful because it really allows you to look at your strategy and how those strategies actually work. One of the things, I know some of you actually, they utilize ACE, right, our component ACE. So I see this, yes, this is the status of terminal. For those people that have ACE, you can also use here the management dashboard as an extension. It allows you to really hone in when you look at your composite report of why certain accounts are not impacted. And that's a very important point because that's where you make your money with your strategy. Our allocation should do this. And with this tool, it really allows you to do it. Another thing here, you also can run reports out of the application. So in this case, we just run what we call a management selected period report. Again, it is an active report that allows you to sort from highest to lowest return, and so you can quickly navigate within your strategy to see basically the returns. And this is again the Kansas City branch, but again, look at all the returns from highest to lowest. We also have here what we call a management account demographics that just shows you certain statistics about the account, and either the daily account, the point-to-point account, what was the inception date, who is the officer, things like that. So again, everything that you need to know from the firm-wide perspective, you have at your fingertips with this application. Here's the feedback link that I was describing earlier. So again, you can now leave feedback on the application. You don't have to go to Outlook. You don't have to go to another tool. You can do that actually out of the executive view application. So we think very powerful tool because it's, again, very, very easy to use. There are other reports, and that's my favorite here now is actually the rate distribution for the current month. Why is that important? It shows you all the rates of return that you've had during a particular month or during a particular time period. So hover over the return, and you can click them on that return range, and it allows you to basically look at all those accounts that have a particular rate of return. And then you can further drill down and research in the holdings of that. Again, you have your rate distribution, and then you can further drill down into those accounts that have been outliers. So that is one of the main things here, is this rate distribution. You run that, you look at your strategy, this case balance growth, you see all your returns. You can click on the left hand, you can click on the right hand, and it actually shows you the accounts that have that particular rate. That's one of the very powerful tools as well. To quickly look at the outliers and why there are deviations from what you were expecting from a return perspective from a portfolio. And again, the same thing here as with the other with advisory spread. You can actually change the look and feel. So there's the flexibility here. You have your own logo. You'll have your own logo. And just is an extension of what we call base. And it's very, very easy. You can do this, as I said earlier, on the advisors. If you want to look at your advisors, you can do that, top advisors. You can look at your top branches. Also shows you how the market value, what the account. So again, the way you want to slice and dice this is really up to you. So we think that this existing to we really create a top allows you from a perspective look at how you want to perform, how our mind likes. Again, very, very top, and we see the value in what you see. Any questions about this? Any executive. The name is executive. I have to say it's hard for me because I've many demos to show you the whole we changed the name. I think a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I could have a management dashboard in the background. Any questions? Comments? Calculate. You're calculating the standard deviation return like the whole thing. Could do it look hard. I don't know that's like I have three questions to administration there. We showed it on that person. I don't want to have any with an agency identify all accounts have any equity number than that. So you saw the top right portion where we have the threshold. There's also a picture by holding, and there's also a report showing the return. Where you're getting it on the threshold portal. And we can click on security. Again, keep in mind, I think we're two chances. So your feedback becomes product very valuable to us. You know, this is the first one out. You're make it even more better than us. I want to see that on the exact 3 days. We'll make that happen for you in a couple of seconds. Just another thanks so much for that feedback. I just did take that question yesterday. I got received as well. Is why can't we do 30%? Why can't we do 30%? I think with this tool, comes the right direction. I think anyone that competitive with a lot of and your feedback is invaluable to us. That's why we came up with that. We interviewed you and you gave us feedback, and that's why we developed the five press. That's how we developed. Thank you. Again, any feedback you have right now would be great. I'm sure people are we want to make this product. I think we've got any other questions? Just a quick can just move.
There's three things.
Yeah, I'll show you.
We have there's a couple of papers on the website. I'm sure it won't happen, but we have that we publish.
Are you do reporting money weighted rates of return to your clients all on a subscription basis? What is going on?
Reported, I reported it just next to the line, which has got
Emily, there was another question. Here's a question.
work that like
You can create, reporting for different goals, and I believe then compared from a composite perspective, they look at the holistic portfolio, compare individual goals, and look, yes, break it down into different portfolios where you then can look at each individual goal. So I guess there's not an easy way to slice them back. I think what you're wanting to do. But you could do that by, again, creating separate buckets of goals from a portfolio perspective, and then look at each goal individually. That's kind of what you're asking. Any other questions? I had a question. I know the feedback has always been overwhelmingly positive. Do you all see yourself using this in the next 1 to 2 years? We get that by a show of hands. Why would you use it and why would you not use it? Is there just any feedback there? I know I'm looking at you.
No medication in our
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other questions, comments? Well, thank you so much for looking at the first portion of today's roadshow. And from the first grade perspective, I'm really excited about the New Year's experience for you. And I know we have a 10-minute break before we can again thank you. Thank you.
The goals and it's my pleasure to introduce co-participants for those people there, the building management. And these would be Tyler and this is an overview of the authority, even place even good campaigns because of leadership and one here and we have to and that's very important. What is if we know that the state is that is not no and what is it? Stating your so it is really responsibility. There's a bell that you've all heard of life. There's we're not what company are you representing?
me and to our family, it's a very simple question, and that is one that effectively was supposed to be this morning. We might be with a woman in her, I'd say, late 60s, so $4 million in account. And she said to me graciously, am I going to run out of money? That is ultimately her goal. She doesn't want to run out of money. She doesn't care what's happening with the factory. She doesn't care what's happening with a Barclays aggregate or other fund industry. What she wants to know is that her
No.
she has to do that person's step.
No. I only booked his room, and Emily said she would send him the schedule of what time he was speaking.
Okay, you actually wanted to $1 million in your account. Fine. And whether it goes up or down by 3-4% relative to some other benchmark or whatever, meaningless. What matters is what the is versus so in the elements, the whole thing is that your own goal as more because
Emily told me that she said that.
how do I make those goals? Okay, now that I take care of my movie, I also want to take my grandkids. After I've taken care of that list, maybe I want to take it back to these things. After I've taken care of that list, so maybe I want to go to a lower returns in exchange for some kind of climate change. Here and there. I think there are 8 things in a way that helps you recognize, okay, how much risk do I take to get to this phone, get that phone, get the next phone, and your advisor, and those of us in the whole, say, you know what, part A is me, I'm good with. Part C, you're really not going to be making me comfortable with the return. Remember that over that helps that that's the conversation that clients want to know. They don't care. That's what they care about.
Yeah, I think when you think about those things, tell you what, heavy, your typical page, plan, reason, part of it, if you take it, I think really with the and this turn the portfolio construction board meeting this year. So it's done work that could be a simple, all right, you want to say, it's going to let's look at the portfolio of that approach or something that's going to be more aspect of multiple goals like you said, short, mid, long. They take 6 hours, 3 years. But being able to build a portfolio around those goals, please with the portfolio is in a nutshell what it's really. And I think when you look at how approaching it, what's there and defensive end of it. So come up with kind of quick hit tools from potential planning vendors, from your vendors you can kind of give them a quick hit, do the risk profile, identify the goals, building a portfolio, their financial on the team, the team, business district or more. So I think it runs the gamut. I think we looking for kind of that. So we identify goals, build them, and that's what the game is. This area, football team, something you did play, doing a U.S. trust, which really just making sure that portfolio.
give that back.
I think that it actually is easier. It's a number one external in an organization in that as I'm going to have a number of times evaluating my portfolio manager if I'm not looking at that. We're all used to that. Now we all look at that position in such a we can look analytics, work whatever we want to do. It is a change and a great simplification to be able to say, this is what we're now looking at because what matters to the college system. So, what is the conversation about need? So, we have a planning spec information which is fantastically detailed, wonderfully complicated, and answered there 42 pages long. We go into every one of the details of the whole business. That's great. If you and advisors are meeting, I think I'd rather have my laptop with me and be able to run 2 or 3 package info simulations that says, okay, get all the details, again, number of dollars right now. We think that the rate of return is going to be 7%. We think that inflation is going to be 2%. Okay, how much, and you want to bring on maybe whatever. Hey, go down to that, and very quickly, you now know more or less what the expected return has to be in order to accomplish that. Well, maybe I'm rerun it. Now you've bracketed your return. Now you know that's going to be, say 7%, 9%. This is the way that we should then operate as predictors. I think you're trying to very quickly get that whole financial planning system, which is not, if you want to come, you're going to need to take portfolio a little bit riskier than you can be comfortable with for your client. Yeah, you have the efficiency on everything. It's really about putting it in engaging them in that, because if you show them that at the outset, now they're sort of talking about using phone-based free as an evaluation tool. I agree. And right at the beginning of the relationship, let's play around with it. Let's have that conversation. And then a year later, after the relationship established that, are we doing better or worse relative to what we said? The client who engaged that first time by being part of the now has to see what you're showing them by a year later. And yeah, okay, I understand. And then they can have a am I doing a good job? Am I doing a poor job? Or is there money? But I would suspect that you probably would have to rethink how you evaluate portfolio managers. You can look at the actual results that benchmark. And they produce a portfolio that are meeting their benchmark, but it's the creation of the benchmark that actually found it. Because what we've now done is that in order for this client to reach that goal, the benchmark ought to be whatever. And instead of a simple 60-40 stock plan, we might need to say, actually, in this case, it's 60 or whatever. Or we may need to add another aspect. We might think otherwise. We that particular client to do that. Then my job becomes a little easier because I'm now looking at this for that point. And now I can still work with additional coach, but I can do it with customized benchmarks for managers and not the same account. Maybe that one, the good one, I don't think like I don't know that.
Trust your people, trust that.
Yeah, it's if we look at firms, right, 46% of them are already they've committed to it for the last couple of years. Another 19% are doing it now as we speak. Probably another 19% will do it the next 1 to 2 years. So, for the enterprise level, UBS, Merrill, PNC, anybody who works with Block 2, they're focused globally. They're shifting their model. When you talk to Fidelity, has your portfolio compared to a benchmark, or do you want your portfolio compared to your individual goals? So, of those clients who have preference, the majority of them wanted it compared to their goals, 35% for the But the majority of them, 50% of them, had no opinion whatsoever because they don't really they never did that. People would have walking into a record store 20 years ago and having a go get sure you want that CD because we could download that from the internet for you. And you'd be like, I don't know what to give about it. I'll buy my CD and go. So I mean, we've never presented goal-based business. We've never presented, materials to help the plan. So the plans aren't really ready for it. And the biggest question is on these. When we just grew up, you're up to 51 years old, and $250 grand in trail commission. See what the way they're living. So they say, hey, I want you to go get a PFP or taking a big price, road, the square, fundamentally change the safety. You're not nice. We're not going to move or interested in moving. Some of them get it. Do goal-based, take that through. Average 40% more in AUM per client than those and the activity do with $8 million. So there's definitely benefit for it. Firms see the benefit, and one see the benefit. So to move, it's going to take time. But I think there are
Find that.
I don't think that. I can paraphrase it. He's wondering if it's the new model that people have this showing the compared to benchmark that they wrote as a goal-based approaching. And I don't know if that necessarily it's a matter of, we got the policy to do it. Anyway, I think that there's a couple of things that are going to move this. I don't think there's which it is. Get there. I'm seeing is if you look at the regulation for one thing that we were talking about which is about weighted return. Here in Canada, the ERM2 regulation. That's the only and expects to do a lot of fees. Every fee that's up there, over a 12 period. tied into individual buildings. I'm not saying it's super complex. It has to be completely personalized, but even if you're using the same 3-4 authors to build a portfolio for that client, at least they're having goal-based discussion to bring something new to the table and say, this is why we're building this way. You know, we're going to talk about this, talk about internal stuff. We're going to talk about things that you can't get on those couple of factors. What you're going to be 1%, or 1% as opposed to 89%. That's what people need in a goal-based advice approach. But I think it's a position, it's there. Be relevant. I think the portfolio is almost ready to do it. It's supporting that. Yeah, you look at it. I think it's built, leaves, goals, but it is part of the flip side. Okay, which is not going away. But if we survey actual clients, the most important thing to them is return on investment. They don't care about that. They don't care that they beat the benchmark. They don't care that you're performing better than them. That's still extremely important. But, Michael's point, it's also, what does it have to do with me? That's with Michael. So, to me, the system is the reporting. First responders make it front. There was a few. There's not a lot. Vendors out there that we great goal-based reporting. So that's the we can plan. Planning, vendors, forward-looking stuff is the portfolio management stuff is pretty good. It's the all that keeping things loop of both the individual components of the loop that's going to be.
All right. You're very clear. We have each of us has overlays for different special interests of people. And we have you're dealing with the problem. So how do we customize the account so that this particular client feels like they are getting special for them? It's just a question of picking which underlying topics, which overlays, and which aspects, and then pushing a couple of lessons on the and the technology is absolutely there. We've been doing it for, better than I mean, for years, using the same technology. So from a protection perspective, to me, that's not the problem. The problem is being able to set ex ante what is the right benchmark, what is the right asset plan to use, and that's where something like a goal-based approach can help both client and advisor know that, in fact, I do like this kind of plan that is what I should be. Can you put back to the left? I'm trying to think this. Well, I think it's certainly responsible for setting their own application, and we can give them some education. If they're going to have ultimate allocation, and then once that's done, if you are using nothing but index funds, then probably the ultimate portfolio will look a lot like benchmarking. If looking at the things, your portfolio, we may balance how frequently and rebalancing back to your target level.
Yes, our research shows that when we survey people, it's actually small business owners. What's the most important thing to you when you in your plus three experience with 20% of them said it was 6% of it that it was their 51 that it was their advisor's ability to create a holistic experience and really talk about their visual thing. Great examples that is specific to them. So, it's not research. People would get, would you have these kind of any related goal-based systems? On average, 96% of the listeners that we surveyed would recommend their advisor. Most of us are going through just many years ago to add more. I think that there's a consider burn more, also less likely to leave. So across the board, we look at the statistics. Folks who are doing more goals-based, holistic, based approach to planning goal-based discussion. Providing resources.
Again, I apologize for being late, but everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Gave me a tour of my trip here was a little example of the difference between traditional investing, measuring success with traditional metrics versus goals. I left Hartford, Connecticut. I was making wonderful time. I was 15 minutes ahead of schedule, judging by the time the GPS told me. It was enough to more than make up for the time. The only problem was I was going to the hotel where everybody from First Street, having been somewhat ill-informed that the event was somewhere else. So was I 20 minutes early or 40 minutes late? That's a little bit like the difference between goals-based results and goals-based investing and evaluating success and investing on traditional measures. We heard liabilities mentioned, but when you think liability, think any series of withdrawals that are meant to be taken from the portfolio, and think that these are the reason why the portfolio exists in the first place. There's a whole discussion in the performance world over whether time-weighted returns or money-weighted returns are appropriate. And all this notion about cash flows. They talk about cash flows as though they want to get them out. Their perspective has some merit if you were talking about risk and performance from the standpoint of individual fund manager. But we're talking about goals which are aligned with a client. Now, the fund manager's goals stay in place. And so his measures of success and his measures of risk that are shown to clients, the only thing clients ever see, is all about the manager. How's his competitive position? How's his position relative to a benchmark? All the things that will either keep him hired or get him fired. But none of those have anything real assets, people who lose money in them. What are their goals? That's what the things that were called liabilities, really, the withdrawal. And success would be measured most by simple question: did the portfolio do what I needed it to do? Did it give me these amounts when I needed them while preserving or possibly growing the portfolio? If it's an individual who's income and then after that person dies, the remainder will go to charity or someone else, that's the type of liability. If it's an endowment that's paying to a hospital or university, those things help place flow. And the horizon could be different, but those are key things. What's critical is that those promises or those liabilities that are the things the portfolio is supposed to produce. And it's odd that there are little few to no measures of success this way. So part of the shift would be going from numbers to statistics to money and starting to define risk in terms of whether you're going to meet those objectives. I don't know if that was your question, but yeah. I'm trying to make up for all what I've said, but I have been here a long time. But from that standpoint, we find that absolutely every client segment, whether it's an individual, an endowment, foundation, whether it's charitable or not, they all have goals. And a goals-based approach is going to look at the money, look at the portfolio, and it'll tend to, if it does talk about returns, it'll talk about the return of the portfolio. Something that reconciles what we started with here, what we were able to produce, and what we have left.
Yes, we'll be here. This time, do that money.
Clearly, you will have to make this an added conversation. You'll say, here are the measures of return. You'll get those. They have a purpose. They let you know how well you're executing the plan. But is the plan any good? Or are you driving to the wrong end? Expert archer shooting at the wrong target. That's how the pension industry, the black sheep of investment, managed to bankrupt many of the cities and municipalities in the United States because they were aiming at different targets, aspects, benchmarks, rates of return, but never asked the question, do we have enough money? There's a fundamental question, am I okay? They weren't okay, although the execution of their flawed plan was very good. Like me, driving very quick. We're low, yeah, but we're making good money. That's exactly that we have. But we have chosen to be additive. We're saying, yes, investment committee, you're used to looking at things with rates of returns. We're not going to take that away. You're in your comfort zone. We're going to ask you to think more broadly as you were to fiduciaries of these funds that have been entrusted. So let's add some. So, for example, at once a year, a very long-term analysis of a foundation that I invested for. And we look at 25 years. Look at longer than dates that we have. But we'll take a look at how we've been doing over that time. And you become more of a storyteller. We look at this and we almost don't have any notes. We just say, here's the goal with the line rising with inflation. Anytime the portfolio is above that, you're in a surplus. Anytime below, you're at a deficit. And we see it going up and down, but staying in a surplus to funded position. We saw one time when it broke through the line, but briefly held our position, and we were back in the black within a year. That's a conversation that's real meaningful, and yet it doesn't use numbers at all. It sees the numbers as a means to it, the money, what we were able to pull out. We have a similar chart, but here's what you spend. Once you build a surplus, spending, your withdrawals tend to be in excess of the goal. And the only variability is whether they're going down in a way that allows you to hit and adjust. Again, those are very meaningful conversations. Frankly, individuals that get this better than they understand what the money's for, and they're not being off track with all statistical stuff that happens to be our company. So our conversations with our portfolio managers actually advise them to do both, but keep the message on point. What are long-term relationships? How we've been helping you over the past several decades, perhaps, get through not one, but two historic ups and downs in the market. There's a lot of steps that you should be teaching and guiding and advising your folks to communicate. You're leaving too much success on the table if you're simply focused on how well you're doing relative to the other.
Always last year, and we remember the S&P 500 3 percentage points better. Another roughly 3. So it was a very few people are going to have double. So as a result, the benchmark performance was inherently such that 87% of large cap active managers surveyed by Morningstar, 87% lagged in benchmark. Surprise, nobody's double way, not part of the way. So if you're working from a benchmark-driven analysis, your institutional time professional, and part of you miss and Morningstar performance, large cap place with 10%. In other words, 10% below the benchmark. How do you beat the benchmark? On average, you're right. What if you change the conversation? Like, well, let's think about it. You need to have a really 10%. The number is over an extended period. Things that you want to do. So this year we did better. So actually a little bit more like this year. No one doubts the bad years. You may very well be one of them where you're not getting that stuff. So that's the way that you change the go to. It's not really the way it's relative. You do show up, but it helps you explain the concept. Put a frame around it as a more useful frame so that the beautiful painting on the wall, which is what the kind of supposed to do, right? It's like having that actually looks good with that, not one that is done.
It's a very important point that you need to look at the risk and you need to look at when you need to manage. If you were to say, how do you feel about your benchmark? It's got about 10% of its exposure to two companies. If they go down, you're going down. That's on a risk-based basis. Look at, in fact, if you may have a conservative and more prudent way of investing, spreading your money around. Not talking benchmarks often have efficiency concentration. And over the long run, that works well. If we looked at 2000, like 1995, 1,000, the tech bubble going up, many people underperformed in that benchmark-driven sense. However, they were not exposed to tremendous overvaluation market. As a result, in subsequent periods, they had a prolonged period of outperformance. You've got to look over longer periods of time, understand the weaknesses of the benchmark, and then understand that you really don't need excess returns all the time. When the market is 50% return, way above what we expect, then that rising tide will lift boats, and it will help you, again, think money, build a surplus, so that when the bad 2015 comes in, spend down from that. You have to get the money out the door. It either pays a straight return or you shift into the till, which you will build in those good years. And that will help you understand. Same token would be when you get to that point where the market is down, the excess return helps you preserve the portfolio value. Our experience shows that when the stock came after the first big downturn in 2000, we lost a third of the portfolio, but we were at a surplus
change the conversation and let your clients see how well you're doing over the long run and how extremely well you're doing it to stress point. And then wisely said, take the pressure off you of outperforming at a time when you really don't need outperforming. The idea of stewardship is one that's thousands of years old, but it's the notion that someone trusts. That's where the word fiduciary, relationship of trust, and therefore they entrust to you all their money. What they're really entrusted to you, their hopes, and their dreams, and their aspirations. There's a tremendous amount of trust that's required. As a result, the very first thing you need to do in being a fiduciary, trusted advisor, is to understand the goal and what the money is for. It's too easy to get academic credentials that say risk, there's only one way to look at it. In the short run, and it's the up and down of the marketplace. And that's your client's risk. You would be serving your clients poorly if that's all you do. And called it complete in terms of understanding risk and therefore what's tolerated by the client's portfolio. You'll notice you'll get portfolios that all look the same. And they're all portfolios that will be right when the market's up and a little low and dislike at other times. So the emotions around that are exaggerated and ill-placed. Your job could be so much more to be a real partner with your clients and help them achieve their goals, have that same enthusiasm when they do need them, to help them ride through periods where things are on sale. Sometimes you say cheap but thirsty, but there's a broad brush that takes everything as long and that might be fine. Pick up some bargains. It may be a time to fully diversify the portfolio. If you have no exposure, at least you'd be able to say, I know we're not overpaying for it. It's going to be either cheap or fairly priced, and that's pretty good. Those are things about finding that you don't have to be smarter than the other guy or smarter than the average bear. You just have to be watchful. That's what that. Where is there risk that I can do something about? There's fiduciary terms thrown around. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon, and bless their heart. The Department of Labor and the SEC will fight them. We'll get to say who's a fiduciary and what does it mean. But our approach has been one for a long time that's been entrusted with the money, as you said, treated as though it's your own, but understand it belongs to that other person, and you are their proxy, and you're there. How could you not be a goal? How could you not really understand what their true tolerance for risk is? Starting with risk to the mission, risk to the goal. Am I putting together a plan that's likely to work? Have a plan down, but when it comes, they're not. The only surprise is when it's going to come, but we're saying with a goal-based approach that looks at money, not earn, you're likely to earn a little more than you expect. You'll provide liquidity, short run position, build surpluses in good years, spend them down in bad years, stick with strategy, and you'll have more meaningful conversations as opposed to conversations about what's happening. Like some clients enjoy that, but that is the category of like education. Here's a market. It tends to be less so what you profile. It's clearly the idea of stewardship and they really do go hand in hand, and they're all joined by loyalty around the understanding of what the goal is, how we work together.
Thank you. Every human value operating. Can you or not that you do most financial. We're going to be fulfilled. You would decide what I'm doing. So the first of every month, anybody who particularly calls into their financial and points to the fund and what they want to do. There's no bubble. They just, produce motivation and you set it up to do it. It's really good to see. What they have to do is really just the every division of that bank, whether it's the brokerage side, whether it's the management side, use the same technology, some things just to see the numbers and say, hey, look, if you do this, we're not doing this for us, we're doing it for you. You're going to have black pay you in, you're going to have opportunity. And then once the best approach, gravitating towards the whole. Again, that through holistic things that you put together your portfolio. Your planning system, your reporting system, and it's not something that every the fingers and get done. You have to get justified. And so, on it, they're like, hey, you're going to see it. Take more of you in. Look at it and say, for 3 years, I notice I would do this. Rails, so these firms focusing on it. If you look at what they are doing incredible work where they really channel every advisor and what to do. That will be those that are who want to bring in money, those who grow that money long term because you really know your to do is doing it and therefore they'll just come up with it.
How do you get people aligned on what are the doing?
I think that the question is point you are listening with say something like that's been a very good thing. And the one thing I guess going to do is what happens where using goal-based practices you need because there's lots. That's one. Another really uncomfortable conversation happens when you put numbers and you say, you know what, you can't get there. So the really uncomfortable conversation comes with and say, well, here it goes. You start thinking performance and now you can't. That's honest, right? Those are all very conversations. I think that a lot of advisors are ready to use the phone-based approach because it's not laid out a really good job. Very clear. There's a little bit of that. We talk around that the nice, beautiful grab of attention to your $20 million in 2020. It is. And that's quickly watching showing what your actual performance is. I noticed that the actual line on that grab left every step away. I don't think that was nice. Was it? Yeah. What happens when it gets below the line? Right? And what happens when it gets a lot below the line? When it starts being below the line for a long period of time? Those are challenging questions. And things that be able to make it possible to rewind on that chart. What the benchmark is over the same period of time, so that you can see is the benchmark better than the benchmark, is the worse benchmark. The benchmark exactly like well, if you don't break the benchmark. But these are difficult questions, and I think that the answer has to be this is an incredibly sticky business. We don't move as a lot of clients. We have hard performance over a couple of years. That we have very few clients to purchase relationship that is built on a full understanding. So your specific example of where it's not in then if I'm sitting there as a conductor, my job is actually not it's the whole view of your life is yes, you're out. What can we agree? And we're to each have a good coverage, each agreement, and then that's what I just want to say. I like that it goes to happy through it. Period. So it's in my business, and that's advisors 21 back really very over time continue to reach out to you. Now it's been a year, 2 years, and whatever. Are you still okay with that? And we want to do for it.
Just after that, if I'm not doing that today, that today, because we know that you're not something you're pretty accepting. Well, that's the way. And if you're not talking to their clients and their children, 90% of that time, this is a huge industry. There's the base, there's no alcohol, that money that you don't start with the children of your understanding of husbands of your clients, that money is going to go really like might be because you're building relationships.
With every challenge, there comes an opportunity where clients may be fleeing from one advisor, they'll be fleeing towards an advisor who understands intergenerational aspects of investment, not just for organizations that these, but for families that go generation after generation. So it shows that the relationship and the process are the most important thing. Over the long run, good process that is at least well executed. It doesn't have to be skillfully executed. As long as it is reasonably executed, it will produce success in terms of needs. And it's likely that any amount of uncertainty is the amount by which you go. But you have to have reasonable goals, reasonable expectations about what the market will do when it's up and when it's down. But not just the return. The effect on the wealth is what matters. It's going to ask both clients, institutional organizations, where are you on a funding for what you would like to do and get out of the portfolio? Are you fully funded? Are you at a deficit or are you at a surplus? That is a very simple question to answer, yet it doesn't get an answer. And we get into all this other detail. At the same time, avoid the basic question, am I okay? So, when we look at the fact that there are two different people, it's very, and they're complementary. They're different things that they both have a handle on. So one has a handle on short-term risk, the other has a handle on long. You'll often hear husbands say, I'm never home, I'm working, but it's great long-term. And the wife has a good friend say, children have to feed you, and we need to balance both. Recently put out a paper on risk from client perspective. It said, in the short run, volatility is the real risk. Catch that risk by having adequate liquidity, something that's completely ignored in every financial textbook. It's assumed to always be, which it is from a stuff like in 2008, when the most liquid thing supposedly in your portfolio bonds were completely left up. You only had throwaway things. This investment grade bond, 20 points under. So that's no liquid. And so we have to recognize once you address them, then you can look to the other person who's more risk coverage, more long-term. It may be that you have 2 or 3 different investments, but one overall strategy will handle it. It's generally a matter of balance and liquidity and growth. This kind of a conversation brings unity together. And sure, wouldn't anybody love the financial advisor? It's like that nanny who comes in, she fixes your dog, kids, right? Put an English accent, anything American. So wonderful. So couple this woman's advice with you with a goal-based approach. I'm going to have a winning form.
you're after as you're looking at that, you have to be thinking about what is the proper rate going forward. Is that and finally, you're pretty you're going to have to provide attention pathway, which if the if first or rate people say I do that for you, if they can't be in the growth rate, and the same the post requirement site bank you're used to take with a that's the copy of the asset. So I'm going for connected all maybe whatever it may not be the ways that and at March which means there I am hopeful in I favor of I don't know what handle that.
Let me talk up the idea that you have, because I think it's more significant than you're saying, and I think your idea has great merit because it's simple and reasonable, and it's as knowable as something that you know. So we could say we know that the most important thing is to put your money in tax for a vehicle, because that tax overall will run of your return, which means over a 30-year horizon will have as much. So, guard from those unnecessary tax. But when it comes to the withdrawal thing, you're going to say, I'm going to assume at that time I'll have the every manufacturer 28%, something for the state. So maybe I have to rack the withdrawal amount, think of it after tax, by a third. Or you think of it as gross income that you live on at that time anyway. And it will be taken care of. It's just a matter of saying, so I understand what the true liability is that I want to withdraw. You can get your arms around. Too much the industry is used for. It's complicated, it's different for us. There aren't a million taxes. There's like 3.
Yeah, and I would say, if you just say, is it out there? Yeah. The robots, there's tax optimizing, sales pitch. If you look at it, we're doing that. There's patience, rundown strategies, where you put your money, where you take your money. The tax aspect is important, especially working at workspace. With the flip side is we also do this. We don't give tax advice, so when you're dealing with people they're going to get me. So it is important. The reps are focusing on it. Outside of it, we see a lot of it. But I think what we hesitated because even though we're addressing it, we're addressing it.
But from the decision, that what should I do? It doesn't change. You would say, if the account, if you have access to a tax deferral mechanism, use that for something like that. If you have excess funds, you're going to have to for now. First, make sure you take care of liquidity. Try not to give up too much return in doing it. Like, don't hold it in cash. Maybe hold it into some shorter bonds that will give you $150 cash, long-term measure. Try not to take too much fees. Try not to transact. Then you take gains and realize them and absolutely turn it into a loss of money. Trade for certain sectors. You may want to do some things like hold individual stocks. No fees to pay once you hold them. You have to try to get diversification. That's what we're working with an advisor. But these nickels and dimes add up. They might add up because they're paying the bills. You kind of want to say, hey, nice Beamer. Where's my Beamer? Right? You ain't got no Beamer. Then it's probably less effective to see expense management. I pay money for the first class. I pay the last.
It's interesting. I mean, the stewardship. I mean, that's what I think. You know, many of these corporate good. The fiduciary standard. It's pretty interesting to see. It's risky to say, hey, we're doing fiduciary. That's and easy. With their U.S. trust, you're 8 million or 80 million. It's a little easier to do. Clients that over the tax base, they're trying to make sure you're closing every fee. So, you know, just to see where it goes. We've seen it. This is I went through the business. We're seeing it now. Work there, 15, totally get business. With the C, days with what plans up, still deals with the grade. I'm a liberal grade. Some people would argue against me. Right? It's actually going to underserve the Puerto Rican and business. That being said, I think it's really it's just a way that something went and needed to find the where it's going.
There's a misunderstanding generally in the industry, whether it's sophisticated investors or man on the street, about what is the relationship with so-called financial advice. They won't call themselves salesmen, even though their job is to sell. You walk into a store and you did a 42 regular suit. The gentleman working there will guide you, probably give you some guidance, but the decision is yours on that. And that's what a so-called advisory firm is there. They'll show you some things, they'll give you some guidance, but you, Mr. Client, are making a decision. Unfair to ask them to take on some sort of guiding role. They're not making the decision on your behalf. That's sort of the thing. There is a place for such a person. Some people say, I generally know what I want, and you can help me execute on it. You can't then go and look to have a claim against that. They're simply making the execution of your plan available in a way that's most effective. There may be some research for it, but it's for you to make your own decision. That's where you have to decide. You have a client that wants you to make decisions on their behalf. They don't want to. Or do you want to have a client who does want to sell the whole business themselves? Unfortunately, clients, being human beings, that's right. They want it both ways. When it's something successful, that's to them. When it goes wrong, what did you do? And so, hopefully, some clarification will come out, and we won't, broad brush throw out brokerage advice because it's good for more than 150 years, and it offers great value. Wasn't that nice of a fiduciary guy to say?
Agree.
When I get back to my office,